jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Das Thakur ki jai, Prem Se Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Sadguru Vrinda ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktarindo ki jai, Go Premananda. All glories to assembly, all glories to assembly, all glories to assembly, all glories to Shri Shri Guru Shri Guru, all glories to Shri Krishna.
Namaste, Gauravani,
44.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om 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 Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
This is Srimad Bhagavatam 6th Canto, Chapter 4, Text 24. Pritoham te prajanata yat te ashodhrimhanam tapaha maisha kamo utanam yat Uyasur Bhutaya Pritoham te prajanata Yat te shut brimhanam tapaha Maisha kamo bhutanam Yat Uyasur vibhutaya Pritoham te prajanata Yat te shut brimhanam tapaha Maisha kamo bhutanam Yat Uyasur vibhutaya
Pritoham te prajanata Yat te shut bringhanam tapaha Maisho kama bhutanam Yat Puyaso vibhutayaha
Pritoham te prajanata Yat te shut brimhanam tapaha Maisha kamo bhutanam Yat Puyaso vibhutaya
Pritoham te prajanata Yat te shodbrimhanam tapaha Maisha kamo bhutanam Yad bhuyasur vibhutaya
Pritaha very much pleased I with you Prajanata O king of population Yad because you are Asya of this material world Udbrimhanam causing increase Tapaha austerity Mama my Ishaha this Kamaha desire Bhutanam of the living entities
Yat,
which
Bhuyasu,
may there be,
Vibhutayaha,
advancement in all respects.
advancement in all respects.
Translation. My dear Prajapati Daksha, you have performed extreme austerities for the welfare and growth of the world. My desire also is that everyone within this world be happy. I am therefore very pleased with you because you are endeavoring to fulfill my desire for the welfare of the entire world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. After every creation of the material cosmos, all the living entities take shelter in the body of Karandakashaya Vishnu. And when the creation takes place again, they come forth in his body, from his body, in their various species to resume their activities. Why does the creation take place in such a way that the living entities are put into conditioned life to suffer the threefold miseries imposed upon them by the material nature? Here the Lord says to Daksha, you desire to benefit all living entities, and that is also my desire. There are living entities who come in contact with the material world are meant to be corrected. All the living entities within this material world have revolted against the service of the Lord, and therefore they remain within this material world as ever conditioned, nitya-pada, taking birth again and again. There is a chance, of course, of their being liberated, but nevertheless the conditioned souls, not taking advantage of this opportunity, continue in a life of sense enjoyment, and thus they are punished by birth and death again and again. This is the law of material nature, as the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, the living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity struggle for existence within the material world is due to his rebellious nature. And as the living entity surrenders to Krishna, he must continue this life of struggle. The Krishna consciousness movement is not a fad. Fad means
Fashion.
fashion. It is a bona fide movement intended to promote the welfare of all conditioned souls by trying to elevate everyone to the platform of Krishna consciousness. If one does not come to this platform, he must continue in material existence perpetually, sometimes in the upper planets and sometimes in the lower planets. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kabhu Svarga Utaya, Kabhu Naraka Dubhaya. The conditioned soul sometimes descends into nations and sometimes gets some relief by being relatively freed from it. This is the life of the conditioned soul. Prajapati Daksha is trying to benefit the conditioned souls by begetting them to give them a life with a chance for liberation. Liberation means surrender to Krishna. If one begets children with the purpose of training them to surrender to Krishna, fatherhood is very good. Similarly, when the spiritual master trains the conditioned souls to become Krishna conscious, his position is successful. If one gives the conditioned souls a chance to become Krishna conscious, all his activities are approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is extremely pleased, as stated here, Prito Ham. Following the examples of the previous acharyas, all the members of Krishna consciousness movement should try to benefit the conditioned souls by inducing them to become Krishna conscious and giving them all facilities to do so. Such activities continue real welfare work. By such activities, a preacher or anyone who endeavors to spread Krishna consciousness is recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord himself confirms in the Bhagavad Gita, Yairam param goyam mat bhaktirshva vidhasati bhaktim mai param kritva man evaishyati asamshayaha. Nachatasman manushyesu kaschine priyakritama bhavita nacha netasmat priyataro bhuvi. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Prachara Nirvishesha Shmulari Bhashkati Vizata. My dear Prajapati Daksha, you have performed extreme austerities for the welfare and growth of the world. My desire also is that everyone within this world be happy. I am therefore very pleased with you because you are endeavoring to fulfill my desire for the welfare of the entire world. So here we can see how the Lord appreciates the Sankirtan spirit of Prajapati Daksha. Of course, Prajapati Daksha was not running on the street with books in a hand, but his service was, it's a Prajapati, means actually to populate the universe. Therefore, Prabhupada was upset when people sometimes criticize it. We are against sex life. Prabhupada said, this is we are propagating sex life. This is Prajapati Daksha. But of course, whoever thinks that he may imitate Prajapati Daksha, well, good luck. He may probably end up quite in trouble. Because everybody has allotted quality given by Krishna, which he should use. Not easy to find out sometimes, because we are members of the unknown caste, born into a completely confused circumstances by confused parents who wouldn't know anything about our real nature, who wouldn't be able to guide us to the point and to the field where we can actually really be effective. This is already culture is arranged that everybody is, according to his guna and karma, coming into a field where he becomes very effective. Because we have a different vehicles to drive. There are, even amongst anything what has 4 wheels and an engine, there are vast differences. It's different when you get a bus or digging machine, or a Fiat Panda or something like that. It all has 4 wheels and an engine. There's some gas pedal and there's some brake. But the way how the machine is operating is of course very different. If you go in a city traffic with a digging machine and try to, act like you are part of the traffic, you may probably cause even quite some damage. So this is the whole Vedic concept, is that we should scientifically know, it's Prabhupada, right? It's not a fad, it's not a fashion. It's something Krishna consciousness is the most blissful, but sometimes the most serious thing you can do in this life. To place oneself properly, to understand even. For most of the people it's almost impossible to even understand where the guidance comes from. The first thing, like example, if you want to have a light in the room, the first thing you have to find out the switch. If you don't know where the switch is, or you don't even know where the switch is, you will try to pat on a window and wonder why the light goes not on, So there must be some basic knowledge. People are in such an ignorance, they don't even know what is knowledge, where to get it, from whom to get it. Remember one of the first books I read, or small booklets from Prabhupada, was The Authority of the Vedas. It was one of the first German publications, translated, basically a lecture. So, it included a picture of Prabhupada. It was scary. It was like Prabhupada was just sitting on a window, with the light coming from below. I was going, whoa! And I opened the little book and I saw that picture of Prabhupada. I was going, whoa! I was saying, now the fun is over. This is serious. Actually, the whole format of the little booklet looked like coming from some university library. So, but then I saw the blissful devotees dancing around and feasting, and I was thinking, well, how does this fit together? You don't see in a university blissful students dancing through the halls, not really. because it's, well, unless they are not completely drunk, because the knowledge they are receiving, the dogma knowledge, is of such a depressing nature. The elementary approach is of such a depressing nature. Can you imagine you learn for years and years that you are accidentally accumulated pile of chemicals who came about by chance? It's really inspiring information. Everybody walking around you, anything what you see, is an accidentally, randomly, interaction of some chemicals, which came about by some explosion a long time ago, and now it's just kind of falling into space and to be disintegrated very soon again. So what's the use? What does it mean to me? What does it mean to you? Nothing. So people float around each other and bump into each other like pieces of matter randomly being pulled around or being tossed around by some stream of action and interaction, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. It's just, something is itching, you scratch it. Somebody said something, well, you hear it. Can you say something too? And you hear it too. It's all one and the same. So this existentialistic cynicism is penetrating every sphere of society. In art, in music, in writing, you get the message over and over transmitted. That there is no really cause of anything, it's just happening, so what? The real thing is, get next to the point of immediate sense gratification. Tickle the senses and scratch them again. Tickle the senses and scratch them again. Until the whole machinery falls apart, and then that's it. There's no deeper cause. So this is the education you get in a school. This is what they study, what they graduate from. Makes people too superficial, cynical, consumers. Consuming the environment, just like this one gentleman said, just like a virus. Virus is something which doesn't have any face. Hello, my name is virus. It's just, you don't even see it. But when you go under the microscope, there's lots of things going on. And they are just in the liquid, just eating each other. Eaten and eating and being eaten. That's all. Nothing more to it. That's why Mr. Darwin was so successful. Even, it doesn't make one sense. There's no proof. There's no evidence. But but the idea is very popular. Yeah, the strongest virus survive. That's all. Nothing more to it. And as you evolve with something. You just mutate into some more powerful form which eats even better the others as they formed before. That's all. So this is all giving also a base to a very brutal kind of type of behavior. All the autocratic systems are basically Mayavadi-based Darwinistic systems. The strongest survive. Power, might is right. This is all coming from the same corners, the same idea. So Srila Prabhupada, he brought us to the essential understanding what's really wrong. What's really wrong is that we are disconnected from Krishna. In Krishna's creation, there is so much variety, there is so much individuality. Everything is individual. There is not one little, they even found out that not one snowflake is identical with the other. They look the same when they come from the sky. But they found out, if you examine the pattern, it's similar, but there is not one identical with the other. There is no one identical fingerprint with the other. Therefore fingerprint is an evidence. There is never, ever an identical one. Impossible. Every policeman can tell you that. There is not ever identical signature, even you try to imitate signature. It's even amazing in this world of technology and everything, how at the end what counts is the signature. He signed the contract. That's it. And even some people, I'm very good in imitating signatures. I was managing a temple with 40 devotees. Some papers arriving in the mailbox. You think I have time to run after the devotees and ask, please, can you sign this? I just got photocopies from the passports, and I just, I had a whole file on this, and I could sign anything for any devotee. Anything. Devotees were going, hey, what happened to my legal status in Sweden? I said, it's already finished, it's already done. But there were some papers, they told me some papers arrived. Yeah, they did arrive. Yeah, it's supposed to sign something? No, just keep on chanting. You know, this is how I manage the temple, you know. It's just like, you know, it's very useful to have photocopies from passports of devotees because you find the birth date and you find the age and, you know, and devotees even forgot their birthdays, you know. And I always had a whole file with birthdays, you know, and all these kind of things. And even sometimes the husband didn't know the birthday of the wife. I have to remember him. The wife had a birthday, and come on, you know. And then he said, oh yeah, well, okay. Devotees are like that, you know. They just go, yeah, well, you know. They could also say Merry Christmas or Merry Easter or Merry something. You know, they are a little bit out of place, out of time, because it is not issuing from Krishna. Whatever is not issuing from Krishna, it's not exactly interesting to a devotee. Who started this whole thing? Who did it? Who established this whole thing? Well, if you do it like this, the whole demons are always very serious. You realize the demon on a serious basis. This is now established. This is the ultimate truth. We have to protect the dogma of communism. We have to protect the dogma of democracy. We have to protect the dogma of capitalism. We get very serious. Religious fanatics also. You never see a happy religious fanatic. They are just, my God, you don't believe in him? Kill you. Kill him. You know, they are very serious. That's exactly what Krishna defines in the Bhagavad Gita. When the materialist gets serious, the devotee starts to laugh. You know, because what is day for him is night for the devotee, and what's night for the devotee is a day for him. It's never possible to combine that. Whenever karmas get happy, ha ha, feast coming, devotees go, oh no, let's go somewhere else and chant Hare Krishna. You know, it's like one of the places you definitely cannot distribute books. So it's very difficult. It's the fairgrounds, you know, and they have the fairs going on, you know, with the wheels and, you know, and this entertainment parks, you know, amusement parks. This is very difficult to distribute. You have, and everybody is going on a roller coaster and, you know, and eating something, and the senses are completely raging on. So it's very difficult. We end up actually sometimes trying this out, you know, to go through an amusement park and distribute books. It's not easy because they are so, you know, that's mode of passion. When you go to the beach and try to distribute books, that's mode of ignorance. You just lie there, just, you know, completely, the consciousness is just completely tranquilized by the sunshine. They're just, you know, and then it's difficult to wake them up and to give them a book. So, you know, it's like there's all kinds of states of unconsciousness. Prabhupada went so far that he said, not being Krishna conscious means to be unconscious. And being conscious means to be Krishna conscious. You can test yourself on this way. The more you become conscious about your environment, about the existence of others, of course it's not a very pleasant realization what you get there. Because you start to assimilate the pain of others. Mayavadis don't have that problem. They just go, oh, it's not moving. Oh, he's dead. Oh. You know, for them, it's just the accidentally accumulated chemicals cease to interact. That's all. But for a devotee, he sees all the implications. He sees all the, cause of that pain of the conditioned soul. And the more he sees that, the more he becomes affected. We found Srila Prabhupada crying. We found him being desperate. It's not the picture which sometimes people paint, you know, the Prabhupada, you know, Vyasa-san smiling, distributing cookies to the children. It's all fine here. No. Prabhupada's life was full of struggle, full of difficulties. He was spared nothing. Neither as a young man, neither as a grihastha, neither even as a young boy. His devotee caught fire, he had trouble in his school, he saw, political turmoils, riots. He saw heaps of dead bodies lying on the corners of the streets. You know, you cannot claim in Denmark you saw it. But don't worry, you can. You can. Don't worry. There can be plenty of dead Danish people lying around. It's easy. It happens overnight. You don't know. Adibhutik, adidevik, adiatmik, material nature just strikes instantly. And then panic. For a devotee, he knows, now it started. You know, therefore it's more easy to preach in the countries where people were just very recently exposed to this kind of impact of material nature, because they are more alert. They know whatever I enjoy today can be gone tomorrow. Whatever I see in front of my eyes today, this can be changed tomorrow. Who said that there will be no Chinese flag over the palace of the Danish queen? Who said so? It's easy, it's quick, it goes like this. People always think, no, status quo has to be maintained. We are living in a quite exceptional time because Europe as such experienced some sort of status quo with all the unification of the countries and fall down of communism, still not some real major violent conflict issue, which was the case in Europe almost every 30, 40 years for sure. When you look in the history of Europe, something heavy came up. Usually some war followed by some plague, you know, some heavy pseudo-religious dispute, you know, something came up, resulting in a vast devastation. Thousands and millions of people had to die. Now we are living in a time of, 50 years, 60 years? You know, no gun on the street, no the sound of machine guns, no bombs falling from the sky. Quite exceptional time actually. So, you know, but it's difficult for preaching. Because they think it's going to be always like that. Oh, it will not. Therefore, a devotee